Hey everyone, John and Ray here, Slingshot Futures Trading Group, SSFTG. Yes, we are back in Upland once again, and we're taking a look at just the overall idea of how we can create a scenario where we can find unminted properties in Upland. Now, if you're not familiar with how Upland works, your Uplander, your character, your little dude right here, mine's a whistle right now because I got that as an NFT drop, but my little whistle guy here, this is my character. And as he moves around through the world, he has a chance of discovering new properties. Now, depending on where the location that I am in, there may or may not be properties available. As an example, if I were to go to New York hasn't minted new properties for a very long time, so I'm not going to find any there. That said, other places, I will be able to find them. But the cool thing about unminted properties is that when you purchase them, that minting price that you pay, we'll just use easy numbers and say it costs 10,000 UPIX to mint a new property, which would be the equivalent of about $10. That $10 or that 10,000 UPIX earns 17.3% interest. You earn 17.3% APY now this is important, on the minting price of a property. That's important to note because if you were to flip a property, you're still only earning 17.3% of the mint price. So it's very important to understand how that operates. So if you mint a property for 10,000 UPIX, it's going to earn 1,730 UPIX over the next year. And that's what you see over here in the top right. Every time I start one of my videos, I've got a couple coins up here, a few hundred coins. This is my earnings from the last time that I was logged in. The last time I was logged in was yesterday, a couple hours ago, so I've got about 140. Nothing crazy, but it's just earning coins for doing nothing. And just that in and of itself is fantastic. Earning 17.3% interest is nuts when you compare that to other things. But, well, that's fine and dandy, you know, you earn 17.3% above the mint price, but how do we find properties to mint, right? I mean, yeah, we can watch the Discord channel for Upland and we can go through all of that stuff, but instead of hawking the news trying to wait for the next launch, there are a lot of unminted properties that are just waiting to be purchased. All we have to do is figure out where they are. Now, I'm not a big fan of luck. I typically don't have any, so I usually have to do the hard work and try to figure out a different way. So in this case, there is actually an analytics page that we can utilize to our advantage. The website for that is upland.me/marketplace-analytics. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description below. But what we want to do is once you're here, scroll down to this section right there, unminted properties. Fantastic section because this tells us exactly where all of the properties are. Now, this little drop down in the corner, you'll notice I have false selected on FSA. FSA is reserved for new Uplanders, so you can buy them at an even cheaper price when you first start out your character. So you can accrue some properties at a lower price, even if you were using only the referral money that you get from the referral links, right? So the FSA properties are something that as a pro, and I'm not saying that to like hype myself up, they consider me a pro in Upland. That's my ranking. So because that's my ranking, I can no longer purchase FSA properties. So that's not going to work for me. I have to set that to false to hide all of those. The next thing I want to do is use this dropdown and see where are all the properties, right? Who has the most properties? Who has the least amount of properties? And what are we kind of working with, right? What's the pricing that we're looking at? Who has the most properties, etc. So you'll notice Chicago down here, it says 7.3K. What is that? So let's disable all of these, and we'll just look at Chicago only. And if we look down at Chicago once it loads up, this will show us all of the unminted properties that have yet to be discovered, or they may have been discovered but nobody bought them. Either way, this tells us exactly where they are. We know they're in Chicago because that's where we searched, but this also gives us the address so we can hone in on this exact location. So 2625 West 59th, right? If we go over and we take this into Upland and we use a little magnifying glass down here and search for an address, we can type it in there and this will send us directly to it. So now, as an Uplander, if I'm trying to find unminted properties, this just and it looks like by the time I found it, somebody already minted it. Go figure. Here's an unminted one over here anyway, and there's a few others. But you'll notice, this is how easy it is to find unminted properties. Once you have them, you just have to navigate your Uplander over there, or preferably, just look for unminted properties near where your character is already, so you don't have to worry about the fees of moving to a different city. But as an example, if I wanted to find a new property, all of these that are not marked FSA are purchasable by myself. These are in gray, meaning that they have not been discovered yet, or, like I said, they've been discovered but nobody purchased them. These dark green ones mean that somebody has purchased them, and now they're offering them for sale. The FSA, again, we already talked about that, but this means that this is a property that even if I did discover it, I couldn't buy it because it's an FSA property. Is a new Uplander, if you just started out and you found this one, you would be able to buy it for a very nicely discounted price because you're new to Upland. That's the nice little perk there. Then you've also got these light blue ones, which are purchased by other Uplanders, but they are not for sale. They're just kind of hanging out there. Now, there's one other color that you're not going to see here, and that's because we've got to go to My Uplander to see it. But when I navigate over here, you'll notice all of these are lit up in bright, bright green. What in the heck are all of these? Right? Well, these are properties that I have found myself. My Uplander has located these properties, and now, because I have unlocked them, I can purchase them. Here's the thing. You'll notice these properties look really, really small, and these look kind of normal, right? No, this is actually a gigantic property that's probably going to cost hundreds of dollars. If I click on this, we can see, yeah, I can buy it for $193 or 193,000 UPIX. The thing is, it's 1,700 property size, so it's huge. But maybe I don't want to pour 193,000 UPIX into a property. So hovering around these big, giant places might not be the spot that you want to hang out. So instead, you'll try to find a location that has properties ready to be minted, but are in a more fair price to what you're looking for. So as an example, these properties down here, this is 10,000, so it's a little over $10 or $11 if we were to convert that to USD. So if these were properties that I was more in line with or more that I wanted to purchase, I could go to this one here, because this is owned by somebody, and I can send my Uplander over to this property. It's going to cost me $50 to send here. Something to note, Uplanders can adjust how much they charge. So this guy's charging $50 to go over there. If I look here, they're also charging 50. If I go over here, they are charging 50 as well. So they're all charging 50 UPIX. I'm not going to save any money by picking a different one because I don't have any other ones. I would have to choose this, and then I could go over here, unlock that property, and purchase it. Now remember, once we mint a property, right? So I actually just bought a property not too long ago over here, and this one is a really good example. I've got it listed for $6.53. This is one of my USD properties. But if we look at the title, this cost me $43.50 on UPX, right? So if I paid $43.50 UPIX on this and I just left it alone, left it to do whatever it wanted to do for the next year. Remember, this is going to earn 17.3% based on the minting price. So $43.50 times 0.173 means that if I just let this sit over the next year, this will create 752 UPIX for me just sitting. Right? That's really cool. And you can actually increase the earnings by adding them to different collections and stuff. So it's a really cool way to earn on your investments. And when they do sell, you can turn around and turn those investments and the earnings into more properties that you can then later on sell for more. But that's how I find unminted properties. I go over here to the market analytics and I look for the location that I want to find. Now you'll notice down here, there's 75,000 properties, right? So 75,000 properties available would sound like quite a bit, right? The lowest minting price is 4.7, the highest minting price is 20.1. Really, the highest side's not that expensive. But let's compare Chicago to Nashville as an example on the other end of the spectrum. On this side of things, all of a sudden, it looks a little bit different, right? Now we have 135,000 properties available, and the highest mint price is 1.3 million. That means that there's probably a landmark or something floating around that hasn't been purchased yet, or a couple. But either way, there is some huge properties and a lot of properties still waiting to be minted. Think about that for a second because that's important to understand from a long-term growth perspective, and I'll make another video going over how to make this into something more and really create a residual business model around it. But just thinking about this really quickly, 135,000 properties available versus What was the other one in Chicago? 75,000. That's half the property amount. So if I'm buying properties in Chicago, it's much more likely that these are going to become more valuable more quickly. And the fact that I can pick them up at a cheaper price would make more sense that I buy properties in Chicago. For me, the bulk of my properties are in Chicago and New York, so I'm trying to diversify away from there to kind of, not have everything in one bag. But as an example, a good way to find them. You can also find for sale properties and owned properties and all of that kind of stuff. So really, really useful tool. Make sure to use it to mint those properties because you earn the 17.3% on the minted price. And if you want to stack those coins as much as possible, minting is where it's going to get that job done. Hopefully you found this guide useful, interesting, entertaining, and something you can add to your tool belt. Of course, below is the referral link for Upland. If you're not an Uplander yet, make sure to click the referral link because you get a bonus on your UPIX when you start out. Plus, when you make your first purchase on Upland with that referral link, I believe they also do some type of bonus with that too. Don't quote me on that one. Not 100% sure, but there's a lot of really cool perks. And getting like $5 for free in UPX for clicking a link, hard to argue with that. Like I said, if you're not in it, it's buying and selling NFT properties. And if you're anything looking to invest in the metaverse kind of thing, well, it's right here. And they're already launching NFT marketplaces. And oh man, super, super exciting. Anyway, before we jump down the rabbit hole again, that's going to do it for this one. If you need the link, it's down below in the descriptions. If you have any questions, comments, etc., drop them in the comments below and we'll get them taken care of from there. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy, and we'll see you in the next. Thanks. Bye.